Hello everybody, my name is Ernie and this is my studio project. So this is a market situated in New York City. Here we have a regional fragment that kind of gives us an idea of the region around and what's located and stuff like that. Here we have a district fragment which kind of shows us what is around the area. We can see there's a lot of restaurants, there's a park, there's some schools, a lot of residential buildings, and of course, there's plenty of public transportation in the area. This is our local fragment, gives us a better idea in a 3D view. We can kind of see what's around, and then we see over here, this is where our market is intended to be located. Here we kind of see a top view of that area. Moving on, we go into this slide that talks about our precedent analysis. So this is the Ostermalm's temporary market hall. I looked into this market hall to get a better understanding of the different programming elements as well as the structural elements that go into designing a market. And here we have this exploded view which shows our grid, structural components, slabs, and then our walls and our roof. Going back to my project, so this is a spatial organization slide. Here we kind of see the site plan. And this is what I propose. We have a market right here in yellow, and then we have this community facility to the side in blue, and then we have this service wing to the other side, purposely located next to the street, making it easier for deliveries to happen efficiently and quickly. In the back we have this lawn area that could be used for outdoor events, farmers market, stuff like that. At the bottom we have the existing perspective view from a street level. Moving on, we have a program elements here. So here we get a better idea of the programming in this facility. So we have, our main hall with our stalls and a restaurant. We have our service wing and a community center. Here we have an isometric study giving us a better idea of how that's going to look from a 3D perspective. And here, I kind of got to start with something very basic and kind of develop it and add different design elements to make it come more to life. Here we have this isometric buildup. Here we're showing it with no structural components or roof. Here we have our structural components, our base, and no roofs. And then here we add our roof. Side note on my design, I wanted to go with something that would resemble a basket because this is a market. I wanted something that could give people an idea that this is a market, but also a reminder that it's important for you to bring your own basket or your own bags. That way you're not having to use plastic bags or plastic containers that can be so harmful to our planet. Moving on, we have our structural system, isometric view in a ghosted display mode. Here we kind of see the structural components, the bays that are going on in the market hall, as well as the columns that are supporting the roofs in our community center and our service wing. Moving on, we have our floor plan. Here we can kind of see how everything plays out. We have our entrance here at the front from street side. We have our different stalls. In the middle we have our seating area and a restaurant to the side. Here we have our service wing, plenty of space for storage as well as some space for admin offices. And then over here we have our community center that is entered from the outside. Moving on, we have our building sections. Gives us an idea what's going on inside. With respect to the exterior, we can kind of see our walls and our glazing, our windows, our roof. Moving on, we have our front elevation. This is my front elevation where here we have our entrance, our community center, and then here's an entrance that is more dedicated for administration staff, not so much for deliveries. Here we have our side view. And here we have our rear side, that kind of leads into that lawn space, and allows people to go in and out effortlessly. Here we have our side view from the street. Here we can see our service wing and an entrance, which is where all the deliveries would be going into. And then here we have our natural light analysis. I played around with the light and made this just more efficient and more reliant on natural light rather than relying on artificial lighting. Here's my building enclosure assembly. Uh, we started out with our basic structural components, and then we started adding our ceiling, insulation, and then all our roofing components until we got our building enclosure developed here in this final isometric view. Moving on, the fun part, here we have my front elevation. You can kind of get a feel of that, that vibrancy, that energy of New York City. A lot of people walking around. We have a lot of cabs, a lot of cars, probably more than this. But yeah, I also decided to add some green spaces and some trees. As you can see, there's a lot of wood being used, a lot of heavy timber, which was used for the structural components. Reason I went with this is because I wanted people to feel connected. Wood has that psychological feel that makes people feel connected, rather than using a lot of metals, which is kind of what you see a lot nowadays. Here's the entrance to the market, and here is the community center. Okay, and then here's the rear side. We can see the lawn, we can see that entrance to our building, and then moving on, we have the interior spaces. We see our stalls, our seating area, our structural components, and that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.